The treasure at the edge of the ocean, the one we've always imagined would require an adventurous quest, fighting and competing to claim it, well, it's actually becoming real on today's world map. That's because the mouth of this treasure trove has been opened up by global warming. I'm talking about the vast riches beneath the Arctic ice. And now it's become a hot topic, both directly and indirectly. Various countries are now on guard, preparing themselves for a clash. Thank you so much to everyone for following the clips on the Sai Money Monster channel. If you enjoyed watching and would like to support the channel, you can do so via this QR code. All proceeds will go toward encouraging the team to keep improving the channel and to motivate me to create even more fun and informative content that everyone loves. But if you're not able to support via QR code, just watching this clip all the way to the end is enough to make me happy. Just this much makes me really happy. Thank you. Can you believe that in the midst of all these natural disasters that have everyone panicking, real natural disasters like the massive tornado that just hit the United States, flash floods, or the sea level rising by 3 millimeters a year, threatening to make Japanese islands disappear, there are actually people who benefit from all this? Because as the world gets warmer, right, it causes the polar ice caps to begin to melt away. And when the polar ice caps melt, it essentially unlocks and opens up a truly massive and valuable treasure trove hidden deep beneath the Arctic glaciers. So just how massive is this treasure? The Arctic region covers an area of about 6 million square kilometers. Beneath this gigantic glacier lies an estimated 90,000 tons of crude oil that hasn't been extracted yet. There's also natural gas under these glaciers, which is estimated to account for about 30% of the world's total natural gas reserves. Now, the question is, who will get to own these natural resources hidden beneath the Arctic glaciers? Yes, there is. According to international law, any country with a coastline along the Arctic can have a share in managing and owning the natural resources in the Arctic. But there are limits. Right now, the country with the longest Arctic coastline is Russia. And on top of that, there's another country that's gotten involved. Even though it doesn't have any coastline or borders with the Arctic at all, they just say, I'm nearby, and that's China. So now, this has made a lot of countries start to worry about China and Russia, whether they're going to take too many of the Arctic's resources. Basically, it's split into two sides, the West versus China and Russia. And this is actually one of the main issues causing conflict between the West and the East. Now it's becoming much clearer because Canada has taken the lead in forming the Arctic Alliance, which includes Canada, Finland, and Denmark, as a way to secure against Russia and China. NATO dislikes the possibility of natural resources falling to the China-Russia partnership. These two countries already have cheap energy and are producing goods at such high capacity, they're flooding markets with cheap goods. NATO is worried, fearing they can't compete. If NATO ends up losing, if control over Arctic resources were to fall into the hands of China and Russia, it would mean losing the power to control global commodities altogether. And if that control over commodities is lost, it would also mean losing the ability to compete for global industrial leadership entirely, which is simply unacceptable, right? That's why this has led to trade wars, financial wars, and in reality, all sorts of conflicts just to compete for these resources or this very treasure trove. So why fight now? They've actually been at it for a long time, but the conflict has intensified lately. It's not a sudden desire to compete. As I mentioned, polar ice caps have only recently started melting significantly. With the ice melting, the treasure trove is opening on its own without humans needing to dig. As it melts, sea levels rise 0.3% annually, which could cause some countries, that are small islands like Japan could disappear, or it could cause the polar bears' homes to melt away. But the groups currently hunting for treasure up there don't really care that much about that. Do you know why? Because the melting of the polar ice caps, just look at this picture, makes it possible to open up much more convenient shipping routes. Like I said, the ice is so thick, millions of years old, and massive, there's no way people could dig through it. But if it just melts away on its own, that's pretty chill, right? And in this case, you can see the shipping routes here. Ships can now travel straight through like this. This route, for example, lets you go from the northeast through Russia and easily reach China. And you'll notice, like, Putin can now send LNG tankers to Asia with no problem. On the eastern side, ships can even cross straight over to Alaska. As for the Western countries, they basically controlled this area up here, right? The upper part of the map, which borders the state of Alaska in the United States. They really have to go all out to block Russia from being able to use this northeast shipping route so easily. In a moment, I'll pull up the map and show you how the Arctic is basically a massive treasure trove at the North Pole. Let's start with the background of the NATO-Russia conflict, the geopolitics, and the violence that's happening. It's all about fighting over this, fighting over these resources. It's very concrete. They're fighting over the Arctic's riches. And on this Arctic map, you can see it clearly and concretely here. Let's start from this side. See how more than half of the Arctic coastline belongs to Russia? There are as many as 2 million people living in this area, which is about half of the total population living in the Arctic region. Up above, you'll see the state of Alaska in the United States, which also borders the Arctic coast, as well as Greenland, which belongs to Denmark, Canada, Iceland, and Norway. All of them have territory touching the Arctic. According to international law, the various sovereign nations involved have the exclusive legal right and authority to possess and manage the resources in the Arctic, starting from their own coastlines and extending out 200 nautical miles. That area is officially designated and recognized as the exclusive economic zone. As for the areas that are not within any country's exclusive economic zone or beyond 200 nautical miles from each country's coastline, the central area will be considered the shared heritage and common resources belonging to all of humanity. But this law also has exceptions. The exclusive economic zone can be extended if that country can provide evidence to prove that its continental shelf, starting from its coastline, stretches into the Arctic for more than 200 nautical miles. Then you have the right to expand your exclusive economic zone. And of course, some countries have done this, like Russia, Norway, and Canada. Pretty much all of them have done it. They've all successfully proven their claims and expanded their exclusive economic zones. Now, as I mentioned earlier, China has also joined this game to compete for resources in the Arctic. But how did they get involved? They don't even have a coastline bordering the Arctic, just happen to be nearby. Let me give you some background first. Russia has been investing in managing Arctic resources for a long time. They have a project called the Great Arctic State Nature Reserve, which manages resources in the Arctic, up to 40,000 units. 692 square kilometers. It's actually the largest natural resource management area in the world. And within that area, there's also an oil refinery called Vostok Oil. Vostok Oil is the site where Russia drills for oil. Russia's goal is to extract up to 6 billion tons of oil from Vostok Oil, and they also plan to extract as much as 2 trillion cubic meters of natural gas from there. It's considered another major source of wealth for Russia. That's why they've built massive infrastructure in this area. Everything from airports to large ports, and even a gas pipeline that's 800 kilometers long. This area is seen as a key economic zone for Russia, right? But if we look back to a little over 2 years ago, when Russia attacked Ukraine, investors who had previously invested in Vostok started pulling out, especially those who were foreign investors. From the West, basically, they pulled their investments out. If you look at the headlines and add it all up, it's more than $100 billion. It was a loss for Russia, of course, but if you ask whether NATO was happy about it, well, NATO could smile for a moment. And after Western investors pulled their money out of Vostok, someone else quickly stepped in to fill the gap. That was China. China has become a major player in this battle for the treasures beneath the ice, fully involved. The name alone shows that this project is perfect for China because China is an industrial country, right? So they need cheap energy, as much as they can get. The more oil and cheap energy they can secure, the more of an advantage China will have in leading the global industrial competition. And China also needs a large amount of minerals because they will use them to make batteries or use them in their many high-tech industries. Plus, the Arctic is also included in China's Belt and Road Initiative plans. And as I mentioned earlier, if China manages to get all of this, then China would be even more frightening. And this is a clear picture of why the Western world, especially NATO, definitely does not want to see this scenario with China. If Western countries really want to block China and Russia from accessing or exploiting Arctic resources, they would actually need to spend even more money to escalate their offensive. But the question is, how much have Western countries already spent supporting the war, and so they have to? Let's take another look at this, because if you look at the chart, you'll see that the United States and NATO countries have already spent over $100 billion supporting Ukraine, which is a huge amount. Plus, the economies of both the Western countries and the United States aren't doing all that well right now either. But if you ask whether China and Russia are doing well, they're not either. The reason I'm telling you all this is to point out that suppose there really is a clash over resources in the Arctic. If that actually happens, it would make inflation even worse. That's because any country that wants to launch an attack would need more money, so they'd have to print more money. From all the stories and events I've covered in several videos, every single event only supports the idea that this world is heading toward more inflation. Even more than this, the term inflation means that the value of the money we hold will decrease. So this means that people who work hard and plan to just save cash will end up poorer. As for what you should do, let me gently say right here, save your wealth in assets. Save it in assets. But in the end, if there are people who win this game, we could be the ones who get to manage and extract all 90 billion tons of oil from beneath this glacier. Honestly. The loser, though, will probably be this planet itself, which will deteriorate along with the modern-day ape species who believe that everything they've done so far, I am the most intelligent living being in the entire world.